giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Underdog Fantasy and the Cochran Firm. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We're getting close. We're getting close. I'm going to save that day. Something big. I got something big planned for that day. But we're getting close. We're what, y'all? 13 days out? Something like that? 13 days out? Coming up today, we got roster cuts. Tomorrow, very close. So today, we're actually going to talk about those who I believe are roster locks. Not necessarily 53-man roster prediction. We're not doing that. I told y'all I'm not doing that. But there are some roster locks that I want to get at following this Seattle Seahawks game, which I did attend, and I'll briefly talk about that as we ramp up for the show. Plus, in the roundup, we got updates on some injury news. A couple young players got dinged up on Saturday or re-aggravated some things on Saturday. So we'll give y'all an update on those injury statuses. And then we'll look at those young Bucks from the game. I thought they were the biggest, the defense in general, but the young players, the young Bucks, the rookies, and some second-year players were the name of the game on Saturday. Just a whole lot of dudes showed up and tried to stamp their claim on this 53. Not all of them are going to make it, but I think some of them definitely took that next step to say, hey, coach, listen, we got to make this difficult on you. So either you're gonna put me on a squad or I just audition for other teams. So we'll see if they make it through the waiver wires with some of those other guys. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
How y'all doing this morning? Oscar said, hook me up with an Arn Anderson shirt. See, the place where I go for these shirts, I didn't see Arn on there. But, don't you worry. I got a bunch of them coming through. Probably next week I'll start to wear them again, some new ones. So y'all know me. I love me some classic WWE shirts. Speaking of the Young Bucks, got a chance to see these guys in person on Saturday. And honestly, it felt good to just kind of unwind and watch the game from a fan's perspective at the game, as opposed to, I still was taking notes a little bit in my head, but as opposed to watching it and writing down notes and then trying to, make sure I get things together. I said, I'm going to just watch today. I'll tweet with you guys out here. I had a lot of people I was tweeting with on Twitter. And I said, I'll come back and I'll rewatch the tape. Woo! The defensive tape was fun. Was absolutely fun. And we're going to talk about that in the roundup. The offensive tape, man. This offense. We're not going to get a roll on this offense until we get to the regular season. But there was some small players within that the offense that we could talk about here. Obviously, the tackle situation. A couple of the young Bucks, one of the young Bucks particularly, that I was impressed with in their first go round. We'll get at that as well. And of course, if you want to call in, the lines are already getting. Somebody already called in. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. I'll be talking a lot today about the defense before we get into our meat and potatoes of today's show, which is we're going to revisit our lads. We're going to revisit the depth chart website, and we are going to lock or not with a lot of these players. Now, we got the obvious guys, the Dak Prescott, the Zeke. We'll kind of just gloss right through those. But then we'll get to some of the down roster dudes, and y'all going to let me know if it's a lock or not. So that is the meat and potatoes of today's show. All right, Cowboys Nation. I see y'all in here deep. What's good, King? What's good, Professor O, Damian R, Jan McHenry, Adam, Timo, 419, Adrian Padilla, Devin, Overton, Lee. What's good, bro? Yes, sir. Listen, this is Major Prep. Shout out to B Mage, Harrisburg 717. I need to get some more of these, by the way. Best vibes from, I'm not even going to try. Mr. Vargas. I apologize. I don't want to be that guy on here. They're going to do me like Marv. A dirty. What up, Chase, Toxic Tom, Mark Quinn, Swain, Professor O, CT Maddenhead, KHY001, Gregory, Reg, Rossi. Is it Rossi? Who else got it? Mike Harris, Joe T. Oh, yeah. You just reminded me, Joe T. Before we get to this roundup, let's talk about very quickly, very, very quickly, those who were unofficially cut yesterday or last night or whatever. You got TJ Vasher, wide receiver, 6'6", long reach, had a great catch in preseason. In training camp. Offensive tackle, Amon Simon, James Empey, the guard / center / guard. Big Cat Bryant, and quarterback Ben DiNucci. All were unofficially released. Would not shock me if more would come as the show was going on. So if you guys see that, feel free to go ahead and drop it in the chat. I have no problem with that. Just let me know. And they're going to try to get down from 80 to 53 over the next 24 hours and some change. So we'll keep that in mind. And real quick before we get into the roundup again, I want to give a shout out to Miss Parsons. I have to give a shout out to Miss Sharice. I know she don't like all the attention, but when I was at the game with her in the freaking Owners Club suite. When I tell you that is motivation to get that kind of money, to get those damn Owner Club suites, I was just blown away. I was blown away at not just the actual seats, but what came with the seats, and just this is how it go. Okay, let me go ahead and write that down for motivation, because I'm trying to get those seats. Or here's the thing. I'm just trying to have the ability to get those seats. I'm not saying I gotta buy those, but if I can just say, hey, yeah, babe, let's go ahead. We're going to get the Owners Club seats this season. That's just, man, unbelievable. It was an unbelievable experience. So thank you, Miss Sharice. If you're out there listening tonight or today, I appreciate you. Truly, truly do. With that said, let's hit this roundup.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
I got a surprise for y'all. Instead of me saying, oh, let's do it.
Oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it.
Hey! Let's do it, Cowboys Nation. Let's do it. First up, y'all see Calvin right there, man. It didn't take long for Kelvin to get dinged up on Saturday's first play, I think it was, actually. Kelvin Joseph slipped a little bit, trying to recover, had a receiver coming right at him, gets hit. I think he slammed his head on the turf, and he left the game, like, right away. Later on, he was diagnosed with a concussion. So I'm not really sure if this is something that they're going to try to, hey, wink, wink. Hey, Kelvin. Did you mean boss man fat? Hey, Kelvin, how's your head feeling? I took some Advil. I'm good. No. How's your head feeling? Well, I took some Tylenol. No. IR. Boom. Like, I wonder if they'd try to do something weird like that for Kelvin Joseph. I don't think so. I think Kelvin's going to flat out make this team, but he did leave with the concussion. The concussion protocol isn't as bad as it used to be. So I feel like he got 2 weeks to rest. He'll be fine. But he did leave that game. So we'll just keep an eye out on that. Also, Israel Mukuamu re-aggravated his groin on Saturday, and he has a strain. Per sources, they said he will be good for the season opener versus the Bucs, and that was from Michael Gelkin. So, Izzy, man, we're going to talk about Izzy here in a quick second, but I hope Izzy's cool. Man, this safety room, I love to see these young boys ball like this. Israel Mukuamu had another good game on Saturday, but hopefully that groin is going to heal up and be good to go for the season. The last thing I want to see is kind of the Donovan Wilson effect where, hey, man, he's got the talent. He's popped up on the film, and then you get injuries that get in his way. Y'all hear what your boy said? Stephen Jones. By the way, y'all, I saw Stephen Jones, that little Miller Lite area or whatever. For those who go to the games, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the dude might have been about 10 yards away from me. And part of me wanted to, you know how, part of me wanted to kind of do the whole, you know, the bad boy bit. But I remained calm and I just kept it moving. But Stephen Jones was talking to somebody back there, and apparently when I got home and I saw the tweet, it came out and he said this, and I quote, "The good news is we addressed it in the draft, speaking of the left tackle situation. From the get-go, we said Tyler Smith is our left tackle of the future. The future might be sooner than later. It's not unlike with Dak. He had to step up when Tony got hurt." Yeah. I think somebody else brought up the Dak Prescott thing a couple or last week, I think it was. This could potentially be a new Dak Prescott, Tony Romo situation. So listen, we talked about this last week. We believe this is going to be the answer. And Steven, in my opinion, pretty much all but said Tyler Smith is going to be your left tackle. I mean, basically said that. So at this point, we could probably rule out any outside help coming in, any drastic, crazy changes of Zach Martin moving to left tackle, or even Terrence Steele, which I don't think is as crazy, but Terrence Steele moving to left tackle, or Josh Ball playing left tackle. So it looks like it's going to be a Tyler Smith, Connor McGovern situation at left tackle, left guard. So let's keep our eyes on that this week. This week is the week they should be prepping for Tampa Bay. So come Wednesday, we should know more about what they're doing. There won't be any open practices, but there'll be press conferences. The reporters will be there at the beginning of these practices, so we should know something by week 7 for sure. All right, let's get to my favorite part of the roundup today, man. These rookies. These, not even just the rookies, but the young bucks in general, because it wasn't just the rookies. Like we're going to watch a little bit of some of the highlights from the game, and you'll see a play from Big Bo, but he only played like 6 snaps. I put this on Twitter. Quentin Bohanna. No, everyone talk about Tristan. You know, we're talking about Osa and we're talking about Neville and things like that. Quentin Bohanna has been just as impressive as any of those dudes in training camp and preseason. Not getting a lot of that type of fanfare because he plays, you know, the position he plays, but I'd argue he's playing at a high level at both of these positions. When I say both, I mean nose tackle, nose guard, whatever you want to call it, one tech, as well as playing some 3 and shading over even a little bit further. He has been extremely impressive. He looks quicker, he looks stronger, he looks more comfortable and sure of himself. If Bo has that year 2 jump, Quentin Bohanna is going to be a key cog, I think, in this defense, potentially taking the next step. But also, let's get to some other rookies, man. Sam Williams. Sam just continues to get better and better and better. I feel like he's going to get 4 to 5, possibly 6 sacks just off of motor, speed, athleticism, whatever you want to call it, alone. He was putting Charles Cross and whoever that other dude was, he was putting them in a blender. He was putting them on skates. He was giving them trouble. Now, do you want Sam Williams playing 30 snaps this year? Probably not. But if Sam is going to give you 15 to 22 snaps, I'm pretty sure he's going to beat somebody's tackle a couple times, and all it's going to take is one good play. But Sam just continues to impress. He's extremely strong. I watched him bench press dudes throughout that game. I mean, literally bench press a man standing up. And I'm excited for the prospect of Sam Williams and for the future. But this year, the role, I think, of being a reserve rush-in, I think he'll play that well. He doesn't need to be counted on. Just get in there, see ball, go get the quarterback. He'll give you 4 to 6, I think, just by doing that. Deron Bland. Here's what I like best about Deron Bland's game on Saturday. He got beat. Yep. He got beat. Play was actually that dead in front of me when he got beat. And I said, okay, this is a good thing. because I want to see how does Deron Bland respond, right? Like, how does the young kid respond? Because he hadn't got beat all preseason. And boy, did he. He followed up him getting beat with 3 pass breakups in that game, almost had an interception on one of the pass breakups, continue to show that physicality that he has from that slot position. I mean, I don't know that, Kelvin Joseph came in last year and did some physical things, but I don't know if there's a more physical young rookie in the defensive backfield than Deron Bland, and that's including Marquise Bell, who's a beast. But Deron Bland he plays with the safety type of mentality at the cornerback position. So I love to see him respond, because that's what it's about at cornerback. You're going to get beat. It's going to happen. It is what it is, right? Like, that just happens in the NFL. Look at this from goddamn. Oh, man. Sam Williams. Sam Williams is fun to watch. Fun to watch, Cowboys Nation. Who else from the game? We had Israel Mukuamu, who we talked about, got a little bit dinged up, but he's fine. He had another interception, continues to show his versatility. He can play down in the box. He can play at free safety. He can play in the slot, out at wide at corner. Just another 6'4" chess piece for Dan Quinn to move around on the board. A lot of length on this defense, a lot of young length, a lot of young talent on this defense. And then Jabril Cox, another guy I have here that I thought deserved some praise for his game. You could kind of see him get more and more confident. Had about 6 tackles and I think it was 2 stops in the game. You just see him kind of seeing it and clicking and going. Every rep, every practice, every game, he gets better and better with that. And of course, from a coverage standpoint, I mean, he's probably going to end up being one of, if not your best coverage linebacker once he gets things going. And that's not a knock on Micah, because Micah might be your best cover guy, which people coming into the league said he couldn't do, but hey, I digress. But Jabril Cox is just that natural cover linebacker. So keep an eye on Jabril Cox. I want to see Brillo get all of those, not all of them, because you got Anthony Barr and whatnot. But I want to see Brillo get majority of those Keanu Neal snaps this season. And hell, why wait? I know he played in the last preseason game. I know he played a lot in the last preseason game. So maybe that's an indication. Is he ready? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be ready to take on all of those snaps. But again, over almost 600 snaps Keanu Neal got while missing about 2 to 3 games. So you're looking at a position that's going to have 600 plus snaps. Brillo should see a ton of those. He just should. He should see a ton of them. And we'll get to the actual roster breakdown a little bit later. If I was going to roll with a core 4, it obviously would be Micah Parsons, LVE, Brillo, and Barr. That will be my core 4, and Coach DQ can mess around with that as much as possible. And that's kind of what they did last year with Keanu Neal, LVE, Micah Parsons. Early on, it was Jalen Smith, but then Jalen left. So, they had a core 3, core 4, and I think they should do the same thing this year. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Marquise Bell, who had the tip interception, as you guys saw in the highlights. But he also was everywhere, played a ridiculous 73 snaps. That's a lot of damn snaps. You would think, oh, well, if he's making the team, why is he? That's just somebody has to play, right? But he's making his team. We're about to get to the locks. Let's just be real, he's a lock. Marquise Bell continues to just show his toughness, continues to show how physical he is, his athleticism. Kind of seems to be getting molded in that Keanu Neal, in that J-Ron Curse role. Listen, I don't know if DQ is going to be around. I don't know if Joe Witt's going to be around in 2 years. I don't know if that role is even going to exist. But if it is, I have my doubts that they would even bring back. And this is early, man. Let me just slow down. Let's just say this. Let's just say Marquise Bell is being groomed for that role. That's all I'm going to say and leave it at that. And I'm going to leave it at that. So those are my guys, man, that stood out on defense from the young guys. Bell, Jabril Cox, Israel Mukuamu, Deron Bland, Sam Williams. From a second-year standpoint, Quentin Bohanna showed up on film. I mean, I already said Izzy. Hey, Nashawn Wright had an interception, and it wasn't just, he threw it to me. It was a really good read. He got a nice jam at the line of scrimmage, dropped back in his coverage, read the quarterback's eyes, and jumped on the ball, filled his own responsibilities, and got an interception. So Fun game. One of the more fun preseason games. When you get 5 turnovers, it's fun. You love to see it. And you had a game-winning drive, which we'll talk about the offense a little bit later. So that's kind of my review from a defensive standpoint in regards to the young guys, Cowboys Nation. Jason says, what about Ridgeway? When I went back and watched the tape, he had some snaps early in his snaps that looked good. You know, he did his job clogging the lanes. And one snap, he kind of got some penetration. But the more and more I think the game we're on, the more you see him kind of wear down a little bit. But if I had to say, of all the interior guys I've been seeing from camp and I've been seeing from preseason, and it's not really fair, but yeah, Ridgeway is at the bottom of that list because in regards to just defensive line, period, it's a talented room. It's a competitive room. And I wouldn't say he's beat out any of those guys that we talk about. Not the big cats, not the Mikas, not these guys. I'm talking about the core 12, if you want to call it, right? That top 12, I think you're looking at Ridgeway as the bottom of that 12. He's a rookie. I just don't know how he cracks this lineup. The way Quentin, and I'm getting ahead of myself, and maybe we'll talk about it here shortly. Let me just say this, and I'm going to get to the lines. The way Quentin Bohanna has played in camp, has played in preseason, you got Neville Gallimore. He ain't better than Carlos Watkins. I don't know that you need Big Bo. I'm just saying, man. I don't know that you need Big Bo, y'all. But I'm not Big Bo. I'm sorry. My apologies. That you need Ridgeway. I don't know that you need Ridgeway right now. I know he's a pick. They love picks. Maybe they hit him with your ankles hurt type of situation. But I think you're good on the interior right now. Hopefully he can make the practice squad. But then again, they might keep 12. Yeah, they might keep 10, 11. Well, I'm sorry. They might keep 11 or 12. Who knows, man? Who knows? I just think he's been at the bottom of that. I think he's been at the bottom. Bohanna only plays 6 snaps. So, Ultra, this is more than just Bohanna in this game. He played 6 snaps. I'm talking about Bohanna's snaps in this game, which, see, I think a lot of people look at, he made one play. Well, you do. And you're not looking at the rest of the tape where he's clogging up lanes, where he's holding, where you see the technique, the strength. You just see a different Quentin Bohanna. Denver, he played a good game. LA had a good game. In practice, he's been one of the best guys in practice as well from a training camp standpoint. So there's been growth with Quentin Bohanna. Shocker. I thought you were the Skittles and Rainbows guy. Professor O says there's 20 plus of, I'm guessing you mean Ridgeway's, of him in every draft. Bruce said I missed cuts. Did they get rid of Josh Ball? We'll talk about that in a second. Ridgeway is with some dogs, so if he's not going crazy, you won't notice him. Yeah. It's not. All right, let's get to James from Cali, who was on the horn first. And before, my bad, James. Before we get to you, James, this is the call-in line presented by the Cochran Firm, the Pulse of the Nation, presented by the Cochran Firm, y'all. What's the Cochran Firm, Sky? What's the Cochran Firm? Listen, since 2005, guys like Larry and Brian, the guys like Larry and Brian, have handled the most challenging civil cases involving anything, man. Personal, wrongful death, fraud, truck, automobile accidents, class action, and mass torts, to name a few of the lawsuits that they handle. And like I said last week, what I like best about these guys when meeting these guys is they are for the DFW community, and they will fight for you no matter what it is. And they handle all of their cases on a contingent fee basis, means there ain't no financial recovery unless they get the dub. So if you need help, even if you don't need help and you're trying to prepare for something in the future, hit up the Cochran Firm at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com and ask for Larry Taylor or Brian Pope. All right, now let's get to James from Cali. What's good, James?
Hey, it was good with you, man. It's all good. You got to get your things in first, the way you always do, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning to you too. But yeah, you kind of touched on some of the things I was going to say that I noticed. That Deron plan that which I think everybody likes, and if you don't, then I don't think they really watch football because that dude is gonna be something nice.
Oh, Duran? Yeah.
Duran is awesome, and I'm gonna tell you the play he got burned. I seen somebody, I forget what. There's some other buddy else that was talking about it and showed it. The receiver actually, and it wasn't noticeable, but in certain replays, the receiver actually pushed off.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would be,
wasn't noticeable.
I would be careful. Hold on, I would be
referee
careful with the using the word burn. He didn't get burnt.
What I'm saying
I know he
for
got
him. I'll put it another way, okay? Out of respect for you, he didn't get burnt, but
respect for me.
But out of respect for you and for him, I'll just say it another way. If it wasn't for the push off, he wouldn't have caught the ball because all Duran had to do was turn around. He probably could have swatted it away or picked it off. I'll put it that way.
Right. But the reason why I wanted.
I'm not saying that he got burned. I like.
You did say they did say he got burned, but the reason why I wanted to just
I didn't mean to say it like that. Is what I'm saying.
You gonna let me finish?
So let's not beat me up. I didn't mean to say it that way.
I'm not trying to beat you up, but I'm trying to.
I'm still sipping my coffee, still waking up.
James, we got 542 people. James, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we got 542 people here watching. So when people hear little things like that may come off wrong, I feel the need to say, hey, real quick, it was good coverage. He did not get burned.
Yeah, please. And I'm glad you did that. I appreciate
it's not about
you
it's about
me
them.
out. I really do.
Right.
No, I appreciate you helping me on that. But real quick, though, the only thing is, and again, I didn't mean to say it that way. I'm glad, Will, you was here to correct me. I didn't mean to say it that way. But I will say the only thing that scares me this year, or two things, is our offense, the offensive line, and the thing I think is going to happen this year is I think our defense is going to be winning us some games because that's the only part of our team that really I'm not too worried about. But that offense, I'm concerned.
Yeah, when we get to the 53-man roster locks, I'm gonna talk a lot about the offense, and yeah, I mean, there's concerns. That is what it is, and it's one of those sides of the balls to me where I got to see it for the first month or so to see how we're going to look because it's going to look different.
Yeah, because I don't know. Let me ask you this. This was my question I was going to ask you though. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, where you're just absolutely just like, oh my God. Do you feel kind of like I do? Like Dak is going to have to, his internal clock to release the football is going to have to be quicker this year than it probably was last year. You agree with that?
Probably. I mean, the offense, that's not the offense though. So, unless
I'm concerned about the offense too. I just don't think we're going to, be as explosive as last year, but I'm concerned only on the offensive line because I'm not saying Tyler can't handle the left tackle spot. It's just this will be like, right out of the, off the cutting board into the frying pan, if you will. And then left guard, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, the blind side for a right-handed quarterback. So that's why I'm concerned about it.
Yeah, it's definitely some concerns, man. But hey, James, I appreciate the call, dog. You the driver,
I do
right?
too, man. And thanks for correcting me. And hopefully Cowboy Nation didn't beat me up too bad.
Don't you drive trucks? Or no, you ain't the truck driver.
No, not me, man.
Okay.
I work construction. So
oh well, you be safe out there, James. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
OG, what's good, B Bird? How we doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good. How was your weekend, Scott?
Man, listen, when you can go to a Seahawks game and be in the owners club suite, I mean, I ain't got no reason to complain. Don't complain about it.
You moving on up in the world, aren't you?
I just think I'm lucky, man. I just lucky, fortunate, blessed. That was awesome. But how was your weekend?
Everything was cool, man.
That's great.
I wanted to give a little shout out, and you can tell me if I'm going to give it to the right person. But really, looking at all the preseason games and everything in the camp, and listening to the reports by you guys, because mainly YouTubers are who I listen to. We've been doing really well as far as drafting. The Cowboys have been, I think they don't get enough credit, especially nationally. We've got some guys out there that's playing. I'm like, man, that guy has only been there. He's a rookie, or he's been there 1 year. And look at him making plays. They're flying all over the place, especially our DBs. Is that should I be giving a shout out to Will McClay on that, or how does that work?
I think so. Will McClay in the scouting department. You know, they got guys, regional scouts that go everywhere across the country that are probably scouting right now as we speak. So absolutely, this is a shout out to Will McClay, a shout out to the scouting department. Again, I wish when I did meet Will, I had a chance to actually sit with him and talk, but I didn't get a chance to do that. I promise y'all if I do, again, I'm going to get something out of Will because I want to pick his brain on how he does this because he's fantastic at his job. And I kind of wish that, again, I'm going back, but I wish they would just give him the general manager duties, right? Like just here, you do this whole thing, but I digress. Will McClay absolutely hat tip to him in the scouting department.
And to be honest with you, he's earned that, but he just won't get it here. One of the things, I don't know if you ever heard this about, getting in shape and losing weight. It says you can't outwork a bad diet.
Yes. I never heard it, but I feel it.
Yeah, that's true. Like you can work out all you want to, but if you're eating anything that you want to, it'll never show up on you. You can't outwork a bad diet. And what I mean by that is you can draft as well as you want to, but if you don't use free agency then it's just going to be real good drafting. That's all it's going to be. You'll never get to the promised land. And that's what we're missing at. But Will McClay is doing his job on it. But, the other parts are missing. But I'll digress. So let me ask you a question. Do you think some of these newer players, these younger players, will see the field? Because they're playing, to me, like Bland. I'm sorry, man, but God, dog, he's making plays out there. I don't know if do you think he should start? That's the question.
No, I guess if you're considering slot a starter.
Yeah, I am.
Nah, I'm gonna say no. J. Lou is hurt. Let's just say that real quick. J. Lou is hurt, so this is not a good time for J. Lou to be hurt. So J. Lou better get back because if he don't play the first few weeks of the season, I don't know. I'm just guessing there. And Deron Bland plays well. I don't know if they're going to take him out because Dan Quinn, he don't give a damn where he was drafted. He don't care. So should he start? I'm going to say not right now. J. Lou has done nothing in the preseason or the offseason to say, oh, he's terrible, man. He should not start. So not yet, but that leash might not be as long as we think.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, and you've been watching the games. Has Gifford and LVE solidified themselves on his team, or is Jefferson or any other linebackers making a push?
Jefferson won't make it, although I was rooting for him. I think he was playing well, but I'd be shocked. Put this way, I'd be surprised if he makes the team. Gifford definitely said, I hear y'all talking. That mess, and he kind of was showing up the last two preseason games. He looks confident. He looks more sure of himself. I think there's a chance Gifford here makes the team. We're going to do the roster locks. I'm not quite ready to put a lock on him, but I got it in my hand just in case. But LV's definitely. I mean, he's a super lock. He's making this squad for sure. Yeah. We won't know what LVE we get until the season because, like I told y'all before, in training camp, you can't get a read on these linebackers. The only time you can get a read on them is dropping back in coverage and from like a zone standpoint. Because even in one-on-ones, it ain't fair, right? What linebacker is running with Tony Pollard on a wheel route?
No one.
Yeah, I mean, so Micah Parsons. But that's about it.
Okay, so I happen to listen to I guess 105.3, and they got this show on. I guess it's later at night called The Get Right.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Reg and KG, man. Those are my guys.
That show is, I don't know if any listeners get to listen to it. Those guys, context matters. They get into nuance about situations, which is really good and brings a different light to something, but to this Cowboy situation. But one of the things they said is that this weekend is, by the way, one of them said, hey, the Cowboys, they always plan for the best case scenarios, like with their players. And I do agree with that. Like, they think that every player is going to be, if it's a good, a bad, or, a scenario, they always go for the good side, and they don't really plan for the other side. But the thing about it is, I was wondering, it's almost like somebody's complaining about backup quarterback. Hey, if you got a franchise quarterback and your starter goes out, your season is over. So it doesn't really matter who your backup is. And I don't know if I agree with them, but I don't know how other teams build their roster otherwise, if you get what I'm saying, without the best case scenario. And this is a question I'm going to ask, I'm going to get off. Do you see a difference in the way that they approach it, like best case scenario versus a Baltimore or something like that? Do you see a difference in that? Because I don't know if you could even build, with the salary cap, I don't know if you can do anything but best case scenario. But if it is a difference, I just want you to kind of expound on that and just and I'll be listening offline, man. I appreciate you taking my call, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, B-Bird. I would say there's a difference. Just use Baltimore. We can use Baltimore. In a way, in a slight way, Baltimore was LA, the Rams, before the Rams got busy in that way. Baltimore wasn't scared to make a trade. They weren't scared to trade away. They weren't scared to go in free agency. They also draft. We talk about drafting well. Baltimore, for those in the draft community that follow it, very, very closely. If you get to draft day and you listen to some draft streams, hell, you listen to the Cowboys draft stream, you'll hear guys like Dave, Jeff, KT, Brian will always have an inside joke about, there goes Baltimore taking one of our guys. It seems like every year they take a guy that we really, really like from a draft standpoint. And those guys, more often than not, end up doing pretty decent. So, yeah, I think there's a difference in the way the Baltimore Ravens approach it and the Cowboys approach it. It's pretty cut and dry what Dallas wants to do. They want to draft and develop, and they want to plug everything else with, bottom tier free agents and hope, like he said, right? Like, hey, the bright side of hitting these free agents, the bright side of it, or the high end of hitting these free agents, they want to play that. And the same thing with their drafts, the same thing with their rookies or their young guys. They're hoping that they hit the ceiling early so that they can reach their ultimate ceiling as a team. Baltimore, that's not how Baltimore does it. Baltimore drafts well, don't get it twisted, but they also go out and they go get this and they go get that. I think the downfall right now with them is that they're leaning too far in, I think, to the run game situation over there, because Lamar Jackson is just an absolute alien when he can take off. But when they won the Super Bowl and right up until the Lamar Jackson situation, I thought that they were kind of doing Rams-esque things, bringing in guys from all over the league, making trades, and being extremely aggressive, except for at the wide receiver position, because Lamar Jackson can make up for all that stuff by taking off, and they're a running team. But just sticking with Baltimore and Dallas, yeah, I think they're just complete opposites in their team building approach. 100%. Yeah, Ozzy, man. Is Ozzy? I thought Ozzy dipped. Man, Ozzy been there since what? Had been there since the franchise started in 96-ish when they took Ray. Drafted 2 Hall of Famers in their first draft ever. I mean, come on now. Come on. All right, we got a couple more callers on the line, but we're going to wait to get to those. Let's go ahead and begin this 53-man roster look. Make sure I get y'all pulled up here. This is how we going to do this. Dak not done yet. You something else, dude. The phone lines are open. Dak not done yet. You said you got to ask me something. They're open. Special case said, yes, the Ravens. Yes, the Ravens draft well, but they still haven't made deep playoff runs. It's been a while. It's been a minute. They won that Super Bowl a decade ago, but they haven't really made deep playoff runs. All right, let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, we got it. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to start with the offense, and I want to go to the bottom of this list. I want to go to the quarterbacks, and we'll get to the running backs afterwards. So we're going to bounce around over here. But I want to start with the quarterbacks because, Segway Jones, as my guy Vach would say, B. Bird brought up, backup quarterbacks and things like that. And we know Dak Prescott's a lock. Don't need to put a lock there. But the players we're talking about right now is Cooper Rush and Will Grier. Ben DiNucci has already been cut. By the way, this isn't up to date. This was from the 26th of August. So don't look into all that. Don't even look into where the players are positioned. They're just all there. Cooper Rush started the game on Saturday. And he was out of there quick. He played 1 series, if I'm not mistaken. 1. And then Will Grier got the rest of the game. Now, y'all know how I feel. I think Will Grier has more talent. I think he's a guy that can kind of galvanize the team if something drastic were to happen. I love the fact that he's mobile. because as a backup quarterback, I like a mobile guy if you're dealing with a sketchy offensive line. I do like Will Grier. I thought he had a chance here to go out there and snatch quarterback 2 away, but I thought it was actually going to be a bit more of a competition. I thought Rush was going to play more. So here's how I'm going to look at it. I actually think Cooper Rush is a lock. So lock or not, Cooper Rush, I think he's a lock. And here's why. He played 1 series. If they really wanted to be a competition, I think they would have given it a little bit more time with Cooper Rush. And neither of these guys wowed you in the preseason. I thought Grier made a few more big plays, but he had more opportunities to do so, so it's not quite fair. Neither of these guys had their starting lineups with them. Neither of them got a chance to play with, Zeke and Tony Pollard and Will Schultz and CeeDee Lamb, etc. But the biggest thing Cooper Rush has that Will Grier just doesn't. He's been here for a long time. He's been under this offense for a long time. They know him. Dak knows him. Kellen knows him. And he has that road win over the Vikings from last year. I don't know if Will has enough currency that he built up in preseason before getting hurt, training camp, before getting hurt in preseason to jump over Cooper Rush. So I got Cooper Rush as a lock. Now, mind you, I don't mean lock tomorrow. It very well could not keep any of these dudes and then bring them back because of their gymnastics. I'm just speaking on the 53-man when this is all said and done. Dak Prescott, obviously a lock. Cooper Rush, Cowboys Nation, lock or not? Lock or not for Cooper Rush? I don't have Grier as a lock. I don't think he ever was, but the real question is about Cooper Rush. Grier wasn't Grier's best game. He was better, I think, moving around with his legs. But again, in the beginning of that game, that offensive line was the whole game really. But that game, the offensive line was really not that great until it got settled in. Thank you, Scotty. I agree, Bruce. I do like Grier because his athleticism and his arm, but Rush just is more Dallas, I think. Todd, lock for Cooper. Dak not done, lock. But we'll get to that, Garnett. We'll get to it. Flo, lock. Seahawks says not. Craig says Rush is a lock. That's why they took him out. That's the reason why I came into this quarterback backup thing with different energy. Because he only played 1 series. So to me, it feels more like that's, hey, we don't want to get you hurt out there. Maybe Rush needs to play with the ones. I think I would have loved to see all of them get a chance, but that just never was going to happen. Never. Well, that's a good point too, King. You said Mo made a point about backup being overrated because either way you got to rely on them for a significant amount of time. Your season's pretty much over. I think the prevailing thought process, at least for me, when it comes to the backup quarterback situation, is not, hey, can I get by if my franchise quarterback is out for the season, for 10 weeks, for 12 weeks? That's not what I think about. I think of it as this way. Can I win a game, 2 games, 3 games if I'm missing my starting quarterback for that? Like if my guy goes down for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 weeks, I would consider 4 on the shorter end. Can I go 2-2? Can I go 3-1? Can I get at least 1 victory? Can I just stay above water with that backup quarterback? Yes. If 9 times out of 10, 9.99999 times out of 10, if your quarterback goes down like Dak did in week 5, right? The odds of your backup actually saving your season are very slim to none. You got the hostile, you got the Giants that's done it before. Dak did it, but I don't think we have a Dak here. I always bring up the Eagles because Nick Foles did it, but that was after 11 games, right? I think it was after 11 or 12 games. And Nick Foles kind of caught a run, but it doesn't happen often when your backup is going to just send you through the Super Bowl. So, yes, that is true, but the context of that is I'm not looking at it as that goes down, we need Cooper Rush to save the season. Nah, can Cooper Rush or Grier get us through a game to 4? Can they get us through that? That's kind of how I look at it. All right, let's go back and told you we're going to be jumping around. Let's go down to the running backs. Zeke, TP, locks, easy. Easy peasy. Then we get the Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis. All right, y'all ready? I really like Malik Davis. I really do. And y'all know how I feel. I said, if we're going to go running back, if we're going to be a running team and lean in it, maybe you bring in, you use 4 and you have a Malik Davis / Rico Dowdle. Now that we're closer to the 53 tomorrow, I'm starting to feel like I don't know if they're really going to have 4 backs on this team. I just don't know. So I don't have a lock for a Malik Davis. So lock or not on Malik Davis, and then I'll get to Rico Dowdle. And it's not because I don't think he's earned a roster spot. It's not because I don't think he's been, I think he's been bad or anything like that. It's just I'm starting to be skeptical on my own idea of them keeping these 4 backs. I'm kind of going back to my earlier thought process, like, it's running back 4. They're really not going to keep a 4th running back. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott is more than enough to carry the load, and then you got Rico who can do the special teams and third back things. So I'm kind of getting a little nervous about my whole 4 running back thing. So I do not have a lock for Malik Davis, Cowboys Nation. Most of you look like there is a no on that as well. So check this out. I do have a lock on Rico Dowdle. Now, they both may get cut tomorrow just to free up the spots. Somebody goes on IR and you bring one of them back. And here's why. Honestly, y'all, kind of similar to Cooper Rush. The devil you know, right? The devil you know versus the devil you don't. Not that it should matter at running back. Running back is one of those positions you should plug and play. But Rico's been here now in his 3rd year. I still do like Rico's running style. He has a big in with Bones Fossil, which you heard Malik. Malik he knows what's up. Malik last week was like, hey, man, I came into this game trying to impress on special teams. Forget all that running. I need to make sure Bones sees me. Hey, I'm here. Because the only way you can be on this team as a running back 3, let alone 4, is to be a quality special teams player. So Rico not only has a full year of special teams reps, he's in his 3rd season, and I think he's still a very solid runner. And shout out to John Oney, who actually pointed this out the other day. He's actually forced more missed tackles than Malik Davis and had more yards after contact than Malik Davis. So if you want to talk about production, he's been productive as well. So I got a lock. Let me ask y'all, lock or not? You can drop a lock emoji. You can just say lock or not on Rico Dowdle. He's a lock for me. King says we're going to regret not having Davis if we let him go. Man, I'm just one of those dudes now with running back where I really don't trip unless it's one of these backs, these Derrick Henrys, these Jonathan Taylors types. I'm just really not tripping about a 4th back. From a fan standpoint, I'd love to keep. We only got 53 spots. If we had 60, Rico's on my team. From a fan standpoint, it's gonna be, man, it sucks not to have a Rico Dowdle. But you got Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. There's going to be a running back you can draft next year. It's really in the grand scheme of things, RB4/3 in the grand scheme of things is not something that we should be like, man, this sucks, man. We're going to regret. I wouldn't go that far. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard is more than enough. Not a lock toxic. Lock Swain, H.A. Lee, Lock Todd says lock. Twan was good. He says lock. Mr. Mark 42 got a lock. Malik not clearing waivers. That's fine. If again, from a fan standpoint, it truly would suck, But am I going to sit here and be all up in arms over losing Malik Davis? Not at all, man. Not at all. The chat is popping. Shout out to y'all, man. 600 of y'all over here on YouTube. Plus, we got a bunch over on Facebook. Salute. Appreciate y'all for joining this morning. It's only going to continue to get better. Do me a favor. Hit that like button if you are enjoying this show. See, Twan don't like when I say this. He said running back position isn't a plug and play, though. We disagree on this one. I absolutely think you can get a young rookie, young guy to be able to come in here and run the rock. Now, when it comes to picking up blocks and things like that adds a little bit more nuance to it. But going out the backfield, catching the ball, or just running, you see young dudes. You see mid to late round picks, undrafted guys, 6th, 7th round picks, just have success depending on their situation that they're in. And I think you're in a pretty decent situation here in Dallas. All right, let's hit the phone lines real quick, and we'll get back to the rest of the offense. We got, man, I always forget your name because I can't save it, but we got Redding in the building. What's good, 484?
How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Okay. I just want to say two things. Do you think that we're going to keep Tristan Hill? And do you think that Kevin Joseph is going to be in the starting lineup?
No, on the latter. I don't think that Kelvin is going to be a starter. But I do think the Cowboys keep Tristan Hill, yeah.
Yeah, I think he deserves it because when we started the season, a lot of people thought that he was going to be off the team, but he's really put in a lot of work. And I hope you know that he can do his thing. That's all I got for today. God bless the show. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. My bad. That's not where I meant to go. So, well, you know what? I wasn't going to go there, but I saw somebody in the chat, I think it was Twan, that said, man, Sky, these tight ends are going to be a problem. Let's go ahead to the tight ends. I mean, shit. Where we at here? Now, that says Sean McEwen because this was made a long time ago. And I don't got, I do got Peyton Hendershot here. I don't have Dalton Schultz here. Let's go ahead and talk about this for a quick second. See, the universe just brought me to this. Shout out to the chat. Tight end, I think you have your 3 tight ends. I do. I think Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, and Dalton Schultz are going to be your guys. Y'all know me coming into training camp. Sean McEwen was my dude. I still like Sean McEwen. But last week I was at camp, and I didn't even hear this because I didn't see the press conference, but McEwen comes out, got his knee wrapped heavily. The next day, he got his knee wrapped heavily. Sean McEwen, your knee hurt, IR. Like, that's what's going to happen. Sean's going to hit IR. Honestly, you may put 4 on here. Oh, they may get 4 to go through tomorrow, then they're going to IR Sean McEwen. But listen, y'all, I mean, we can go to the actual our lads real quick so we can look at the tight ends right here. I'm not going to go line to line because I think you have to include both of these dudes. Schultz, we know, it's a lock. Jake Ferguson, it's a lock. McEwen, I feel like it's not, but the one I want to ask you guys about is that boy Peyton Hendershot. Man, Peyton Hendershot is fun to watch. He had his own Jason Witten moment on Saturday with his helmet that got taken off. And then he had that nice little wiggle. And he had a nice little wiggle for the touchdown in the red zone. I believe it was in the 4th quarter for the game winner from Ben DiNucci. So Peyton Hendershot. I personally think Peyton's a lock. So Peyton Hendershot, lock or not, I feel like he has to be from a pure number standpoint, but I also think he's earned it as well. I think we brought this up last week. If you're going to go with 3, I believe McEwen's the odd man out because McEwen, Ferguson, and Schultz are all very similar in their play styles, where Hendershot gives you that kind of seam buster, a little bit more speed, a little bit more athleticism. So those would be the 3 tight ends, man. Peyton Hendershot, Ferguson, and Schultz with McEwen hitting IR. That's kind of how I see it. Sully said he's on my team, Sky, for sure. Paul says, bro, Hendershot is that guy, tough as F. Yes, he is. Professor O's guy says T-Ty. He is. Let me tell y'all, Professor O hit me up a long time ago and was like, man, I think Peyton Hendershot can make this team. And I was like, wait, how's he going? Then I said, wait a minute. Sprinkle's still on this team? Shit, I think I'd rather have him over Sprinkle. This was before even like studying him extensively. Then I took a look at him and I was like, yeah, he does give you that athleticism. Let's see what he can do if he can beat out any of these other guys. I looked at it as all 4 of these dudes did some good things in camp. McEwen didn't really show up in preseason, but Hendershot did show up in preseason. So I think he's earned his spot on this roster. Looks like everybody got a lock, right? I mean, I don't think we're in disagreement on a lock for Peyton Hendershot. Colin, yes, McEwen is hurt. Sean McEwen injured his knee. I think he'll be on IR to start the season. And then I know we're talking about Peyton, but man, let me give some credit to Jake Ferguson too. Jake Ferguson, when we drafted Jake Ferguson, my whole prevailing thought was that Jake Ferguson is going to be the guy to take over for Dalton Schultz moving forward. They took him in the 4th round. He would absolutely have to bomb this year or training camp to not be a guy that's part of the 12 personnel package or the 13. I think he's done enough to say, hey, involve me in this 12, right? I personally think I know Blake Jarwin was that kind of that seam buster, had a little bit more wide receiver to him than most of these guys. But I think you can still have a solid 12 personnel this year with Jake Ferguson, even though he's a rookie. I don't think he's going to be tasked to do too many things as that second tight end. I think he blocks better than Blake Jarwin. I think he's shown that. And again, I said it before, he comes into the league a more established pass-catching tight end than any of the dudes that the Cowboys have drafted over the last few years. So Jake Ferguson, let's give a hat tip to Jake. He's had a good training camp, and I think he has a potential to be a factor in the 12 personnel Cowboys nation. Hendershot looks athletic. Indeed, he does. Yeah, Ben. I think you're right. Benjamin says Sean McEwen is always injured, it seems. We're not approaching quite Blake Jarwin territory, but we getting there with Sean. Sean, again, this happened last year, having a good camp. Boom, gets hurt. This year, good camp. Boom, gets hurt. As rookie year, I believe he kind of got dinged up too. So at this point, I don't know that you can really count on McEwen. All right, let me see what we got on the horns here before we keep it moving. We got 2. We did tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs. All right, we'll take a call, and then we'll get back to the offense, because this is mostly about offense, and then we'll briefly breeze through the defense, because I think the defense is easier. The offense has a little bit more nuance to it. 9-2-0, what's good?
What's up, Scott Walker? It's your boy Carl Young.
Carl? What's good, Carl?
What's up, man? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hey, I was I for the first time, man, in years, I like the setup, the tight end. The 3 tight ends. I like those sets. But McHugh, I like him, but he's always injured.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's crazy until that person said it in the chat. I wasn't thinking of it like that, but damn it, he is. So that has to be a knock on him moving forward.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be injured, released, or what are you thinking on that?
I think they still need to keep somebody on the practice squad. Or in the tuck on IR. They usually try to carry 4, keep 4 around. So again, there's going to be roster gymnastics. They very well may actually keep him on the initial 53, but when it comes to game day 53, he'll be put on IR, which gives you 4 weeks for him to recover. And you keep maybe an Ian Bunting or whomever, Jeremy Sprinkle, on the practice squad for that 4th tight end in case anything happens. But I think McEwen will stick around. I just don't think it'll be for week 1. I could be wrong. But.
Oh, okay. And my mainly last, listen, it's we got 12, 13 days before opening day.
Yeah. Less than 2 weeks away.
What are you thinking with the the only thing I'm worried about with Dallas is that offensive line. And what are you thinking? Do you think they'll bring somebody in, they'll make a trade? Like, they got to do something, or they'll just let Tyler Smith at that left tackle. I'm thinking before you start, what I'm thinking is, why don't you just let him keep him at right guard for just a year until you really need him at that left tackle, and try to go get somebody.
That was my thinking, to get a left tackle, but I think it's never too late, right? But I feel like we know what's going to happen because Stephen Jones said that they drafted him to play left tackle. The future is just sooner than later. So he's going to be your left tackle. Coming into the season, that was my same thought. Hey, let's focus him at left guard, keep him at left guard, get you a bona fide real swing tackle, and then if anything happens to Tyron, which it was going to happen, then you use that guy to come in. That way you're not shifting the line around.
Yeah.
Your kid can focus on one position, and then in the offseason next year you continue the cross training. And I think they thought that. I think they saw that they had Tyler doing left tackle and left guard things in OTAs and said, hey, I think this is a bit too much. Let's go ahead and focus him on guard. My problem with this thinking now that Tyler Smith is your swing tackle or swing left tackle, whatever the hell you want to call it, is if that was the case, if that was the real plan the whole entire time, then he should have been getting left tackle reps during preseason and during training camp. You didn't, so now you got 2 weeks to kind of fast course this guy at left tackle going up against the Shaq Barretts of the world.
Yeah, and they said that he's going to be replacing Tyron Smith anyway, and they traded for him to be at the left tackle. Left tackle. You know, they did that. And my thing on this is
in closing.
It's just I get worried, dude. Like I have butterflies already in the first game, like the Tampa Bay. Dude, I need them to beat the Tampa Bay. I need them to beat Tampa Bay. And if they can do that, then I believe, man, I just believe that my butterflies to go away.
They ain't going away.
It's not even here yet, man.
Listen, man, we diehard Dallas Cowboys fans. We all get that pit in our stomach every game. At least I do. Every game I get this pit in my stomach. Every play, it doesn't matter. I live and breathe and die through play by play during the season. But Carl, I think they can definitely beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a completely different reason than left tackle, and we'll get to that in a couple weeks, bro.
Yeah. All right, bro, man. Take it easy, man. Go Cowboys.
Appreciate you, dog. That was Carl.
All right.
Does anybody know why I say it like that? Anybody watch not Game of Thrones? I'm watching it now. The Walking Dead. Carl. Somebody put a collection of Rick saying Carl's name. Hilarious. All right, look. Y'all are just killing it with these segues. I love it, man. Carl brought up the tackle position. Let's talk about the tackle position. Let's talk about this offensive line, all right? We know Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, Tyler Biotish, McGovern, locks. Tyler Smith, locks. Lock. Fournier also lock. Let's talk about Let's Go and Josh Ball. Let's talk about Let's Go and Josh Ball. I'm all right. This is my last day kind of beating up on Josh because we got to start talking about the season, right? Y'all, he just ain't it. He's just not ready. I don't know what y'all want to do. I don't know who is still putting this cape on. I don't know what the hell y'all watching. He's just not ready. All right, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm starting to feel bad for the guy at this point. So he just needs some more development. He ain't ready. Let's just be professional about it. Y'all can go ahead and roast him if y'all want, but it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I want to talk about Matt. Well, let's go. Or, well, let's go. I liked how he looked in there. Yeah. I did. Now, let me say this. I wish I could have my tweet to pull up. You saw Matt Waletzko you saw those traits that the scouts looked at Matt Waletzko and say, hey, man, there's a future to Matt Waletzko. There's a future. I ain't talking about the present. I ain't talking about him being the swing now. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that just yet. But you saw the potential. You saw those traits. And if I'm being completely honest with you, Matt Waletzko at left tackle in that one little game looked more comfortable, looked more natural than Josh Ball did all camp, all preseason at left tackle. And again, I'm not trying to beat up on Josh Ball. He's already down. I ain't trying to swoop him. I'm just saying, between these two, Matt Waletzko from North Dakota, not State, with the bum shoulder, looked better than Josh Ball, more comfortable than Josh Ball at that position. The traits, the footwork, the hand placement, it just looks so much more natural than him. So much more. So, with all that said, lock or not for Josh Ball? And I think it's going to be a lock for me, man. And I say that reluctantly. I say that reluctantly because it really shouldn't. I don't give a damn if he was your 4th round pick last year. I don't care. Well, Let's Go has showed more traits, like I said, more promise. And again, I said this in our group chat. I didn't even see anything to build on with Josh Ball, to be honest. You're just hoping you see a drastic jump come next year. But I don't see too much to build on. That left tackle, maybe move him to right. He played some snaps at right tackle and looked better. So, lock or not with Josh Ball, and I think it's going to be a lock by default. That's how I'm feeling, Todd. Lock by default. We cutting off for this clown. No, don't do this. Which Amantius? He said Ball's the Danucci of left tackles. Danucci looked better. Let's keep it in the paint. Yeah, King says, as much as we don't want it, he's a lock. Jeremy said IR lock. Josh Ball, you heard? But here's the thing about Let's Go. That shoulder ain't going to get better. He elected not to get surgery, probably because he wanted to be a part of this team, right? And it's one of those things, listening to Isaiah Stanback, and I meant to talk to Doc about this, and we'll talk about it again at some point. It's one of those things where it's a pain management. It's not going to get better. It's only going to continue to deteriorate and get worse. And eventually you will need surgery. And those were the first reports that came out on Matt Let's Go, was that, hey, inevitably he's going to need surgery. He doesn't have to get it, but he's going to. So for Let's Go, I was looking at this as, all right, man, get the surgery, get put on IR, come back next year and let's rock. I think Let's Go looked at this situation and said, man, Josh Ball ain't looking like shit. So if Josh Ball's not looking great, I feel like I can go in there and snatch that left tackle or swing tackle position. Problem is, he only had a week. So lock or not for Matt Let's Go? I'm actually a little bit more torn on this one now I think about it out loud. Let me go pull this back up for y'all. I'm gonna lock it. Yeah, I'm gonna lock it. I don't think they have a ton of depth on the offensive line in general. So with Tyron Smith out, I think Let's Go electing to not get the surgery. Obviously, yeah, this is easy actually when you think about it. He was a 5th round pick. They like him. This is a lock. Yeah, this is a lock. So Let's Go gets the lock. I don't know. We have to really ask about Forniak. I think he's a lock as well. So I think really the depth you have on the offensive line, it's not a lot back there. Your starters are probably going to be Tyler Smith, McGovern, Biotish, Martin Steele. Your backups, Let's Go, Josh Ball, Forniak. That's it. I think that's it. I mean, we don't, out of Cone, we're not, there's no need to do lock or not. We don't believe that's a lock. Lindstrom, we don't believe that's remotely close to being a lock. And they already cut James Empey and Simon. And Avion Collins, it might be interesting, but I would go with Let's Go. But see, I would take him over Ball. But you're not keeping 3 backup tackles, are you? So I'm not even going to bring up the lock situation for Avion. I mean, you could talk about how you'd want him on the team, but I don't think he's in the situation where it's lock or not. Realistically. And then Braylon Jones, I mean, if your family's listening, this is no disrespect. I don't think Braylon is an NFL player at this moment. So there you got it, man. The offensive line. Can Ridgeway play tackle? Bro, Lee. You know what's funny about that? And this I know this is going to sound stupid when you think about it. And you're like, why'd you write this down in your notes? At camp on Wednesday or Tuesday, one of the two. I think it was Wednesday. I'm just sitting there and the first team kicking comes up. Field goal team comes up. Guess who's out there? John Ridgeway. Guess who was out there on Saturday? John Ridgeway. You know, you might be like, well, Sky, what the hell that got to do with him playing defense? It don't. But pay attention to some of the special team situations could give you an idea of who may make this team. And John Ridgeway was playing kind of that flanker position. I don't know what the exact term is for those who have played that position on special teams. Let me know. But he was the bookend at the end of the field goal team. He's a first up. Just saying. Maybe he makes the squad. All right, cool. No phone lines right now. Good. We can go through the defensive side of the ball here in a quick second after I go through this chat. Toxic. Josh Ball can't even block on Twitter. Come on, man. Jennifer said Collins ain't making this team. I don't think so either. But hey, man, crazier things have happened. Unseen Unheard said Ball is like unlock. Just get ready. I mean, there's not a lot of bodies back there. If Josh Ball's been getting most snaps, he's a draft pick. Just get ready. He's going to make the team. Lindstrom got hurt earlier in the offseason, Swain, and then he returned. Unseen said, what number is he? What number is who? Lindstrom? 65, I think. Yeah, 65. Yeah. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great behind the starters, but it is what it is, man. This is what we got. I said this on Twitter. Regardless of if you put out Tyler Smith at tackle, you still have a swing tackle depth issue. Personally, I still go out and get somebody. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Eric Fisher is looking to start. He could. Who else is out there we talked about? I forget the other few people that were out there. There are some swing tackle ability guys out there. The Ty Nsekes, if you wanted to go, 37-year-old guy. Do I still got the names up? I do not. But there's a few swing tackle options. I think you got to explore it just to be on the safe side. And K Doe Smoke says, why aren't we talking about Avion Collins, which is 76? We just brought him up. I don't think he's a lock or not type of guy. But again, I look at Ball, I look at Collins. I think Collins has played better in the preseason. I think he's more just sound technically. I think he looks more comfortable. I just think he's a better player at this point than Ball. But again, that's not a surprise to me. Josh Ball this is only his second year, and he didn't play in his first year, where Collins is 29 years old, and this is his third team. And he's got some experience in camps and preseasons, a couple games. So that doesn't shock me. But if we're talking about putting together the best team, you're going to put a guy like Ball over Collins probably because of politics and being a draft pick. It is what it is. I can't Toxic. Toxic says, Sky, can you tell me what he does well? I think he can be a nasty run blocker when he's at the point of attack. I don't like him really in space. I think he does well on like down blocks with, in combo situations. I said I can't. Here I am giving you some. So let me back up. Let me stop being petty. I like him in head up, point of attack, run blocking situations. I think he does decent. I don't want him to engage too long because I've seen him get whipped around. His combo blocks aren't bad. I think he helps move bodies in that regards. Don't like him in space. You said things you like. So there we go. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to just leave it at that. All right. What happened to the receivers? We'll get to that, Craig. Let's go ahead. Let's move forward. Let's get to the wide receivers. Let me see here. Here we go. All right. Skip around. Let's go to the wide receivers. Actually, no, this is the last part. So remember, we're talking about locks to be on this roster in general, period. We understand Michael Gallup is not going to be ready, but he's not going on PUP. So Michael Gallup's a lock. Tolbert, Lamb, Noah, locks. After that, for some, it becomes a question mark. So we're going to do lock or not. And straight up, I'm going to start off with Simi Fehoko, who I think has been your best wide receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb in training camp and in the preseason alike. So Simi, to me, lock or not, y'all, easy lock. Easy. This, if they try to pull some old weird stuff with Simi Fehoko, I'm gonna look at them sideways. But to me, this is an easy lock. What y'all don't want to see is
Angry Sky.
If they cut Simi Fehoko. So lock or not on Simi. Lock. Turpin is that's another guy, Turpin. I didn't even want to bring up Turpin. Man, I think the dude's a lock as well. Let's see. Simi, lock for Simi. Can we unlock Nashawn Wright? I didn't even get to the defense. Don't cut the wrong people. Lock. See, okay, so most of y'all are with the locks. All right. We in agreement here. James Washington. Lock or not? I'm going to go not. You didn't pay James a lot. He didn't come in here and really do a bunch of crazy things because he kept getting hurt. Yes, he's a veteran wide receiver, but I got this feeling you can cut James and you can bring him back if you want. My only issue is I feel like they're going to put him on the 53 and then IR him. He's not going to be ready, right, for the first at least 3 games. I guess he can return sooner rather than later. The foot injury is a situation, the 5th metatarsal. You don't like to hear those for wide receivers, so I would take my time. I would be more closer to the 10-week than the 6-week. But I got a feeling that because he's a veteran wide receiver, the room is not that deep this year. They may elect to keep him on IR to come back. So I don't have a lock because I still think they could do some weird gymnastics. He's a vested veteran, meaning you can cut him and he doesn't have to go through waivers, and you can bring him back. But I can understand if some people believe he'll be a lock. So most of y'all say no on the lock. All right, I can dig it. All right, let's get through these because I do want to run through the defense real fast. TJ Vasher was already cut. And here's the one that's interesting to me. Dennis Houston. This was a prevailing lock, right? Easy peasy lock to start camp, middle of camp. He had a couple catches on Saturday. I was like, he needed those. And it's not his fault. These wide receivers, in fact, let me talk to y'all. These wide receivers in preseason, nobody had more than 4 receptions on the team.
What's up with that, man?
Nobody had more than 4 receptions. More than 3, actually. More than 3. All preseason. In fact, the most receptions a wide receiver had in all 3 of these preseason games was 3, and it happened this past game, Brandon Smith. So it's really hard to get a feel for these guys. But Dak likes him, right? He's got some potential. So at the end of the day, I do think he'll be a lock. He'll be a lock. So I got Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb, locks, Noah Brown, lock. That's 4. Simi's 5. Turpin makes 6. Dennis Houston makes 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So then you get, man, I put him Gallup on pup. Yeah, that's 7. That's 7 wide receivers. I don't know, man. Houston will be the only question mark as a lock. He'd be the only question mark. All right, man, let's roll through these defenders because I think this is extremely easy. I think all these guys are pretty much pieced together. So I kind of want to get to the back end of this roster real quick and just kind of breeze through it. Let's actually start with cornerback. We're going to start with some controversial guys right now. Nashawn Wright probably started off camp as a lock. And he definitely needed that interception. But I'm not putting him down as a lock, even though he might be closer to it than not. Especially with the injury to Kelvin Joseph and the injury to Jordan Lewis. So maybe I actually just talked myself into it. Nashawn Wright, lock or not? I don't think he's a lock, but Now look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might be. Shit. If honestly, if they came down to a roster spot and they needed to say, hey man, we got to get Israel Mukuamu on this team, then it will come at the expense of Nahshon to me. It will come at the expense of Nahshon. So, I'm not even talking. Hey, Deron Bland's a lock, right? Look, J. Lou, Diggs, Kelvin, Joseph Brown. Those are lock. Oh, well, let's go Kelvin. Hold on, wait a minute now. Even though I think it's a lock, but y'all like to talk about this. Kelvin Joseph, lock or not? I think Kelvin Joseph a lock. Most people agree here that Nahshon's not a lock. I still think he'll make it though. But Kelvin Joseph, lock or not? On Kelvin Joseph, put in KJ, lock or not? I think he's a lock. I mean, and let me tell you why. I think I said this to Professor O when we were talking. Again, it's not the games. It's not how they necessarily play in the preseason. I mean, some of it obviously is. I don't want to dismiss that. That matters for down roster guys. But in the training camp on Wednesday, Kelvin Joseph ran out there with the ones, and they moved Anthony Brown in the slot just to kind of see what it looked like. Because remember, Jordan Lewis is out. So they gave Deron Bland the first go at it with the ones the week prior. And this last week, they decided on Wednesday, at least, not Tuesday, on Wednesday, to decide to see what it looked like with Kelvin on the outside. So let me just say this. The whole idea of having Kelvin Joseph in the slots is just not happening. They had the opportunity to do that. They didn't. They did what I thought they'd do, move AB in the slot. So if he's running with your ones, how is that not a lock? That's a lock. Whether you like how he played this year or not, he is an absolute lock on this team. And again, Jalen Barty, he plays special teams. So yeah, I got a lock with Kelvin Joseph. We can agree Marquise Bell's a lock, right? We don't got to do too much with that. Marquise Bell's a lock. Funny thing about CJ Goodwin, he's a lock to me. But again, we're talking about who ultimately makes the final 53, not tomorrow's 53. CJ may be one of those guys where they knock on his door. Hey man, we need you to do us a favor, man. Don't be surprised tomorrow if there's only one specialist left on this team. But CJ Goodwin's a lock. All right, move forward. Linebackers, LVE, Micah, Barr, Cox. That's core four. Luke Gifford and Devin Harper. Story Jackson. I'm gonna remove my fandom for a quick second. Story was one of my favorite guys to root for this year, this offseason, this preseason. And he's done really good things the last 2 weeks. I just don't think they'll put him on the team. But I pray he makes the practice squad because I think he's got something to him. He did some good things in that game. He did some good things in the other game against the Chargers, against the Denver Broncos. Like Story Jackson just showed up this preseason. So salute to him. So did, you can't see the rest of the guys there, Malik Jefferson. I just don't think they're going to put him on the team because Devin Harper is a draft pick. He's a draft pick, 5th round, and he technically could be your 5th guy. Luke Gifford, I think they like Luke. I think Luke Gifford's going to make this team. I know we joke around. He's the eyeball out in regards to the athleticism and all that good stuff. But I do think they like Luke. And I think when he came back from injury, you saw him play with some pressure, right? He played like, hey, these dudes are on my ass. So I need to figure this out. So Luke did play well in the preseason. But if it came down to Harper and Luke, it was only 5. Of course, I'm keeping Devin Harper. There's not even a question. Story and Luke is tougher because I like Story better personally. I truly do. But I feel like you can get either one of these guys through waivers and bring them back on the team. So I'm going to go not a strong one, but I'm going to go lock on Luke Gifford. Mika, Lemitra asked about Mika. He's not a lot. He did some good things this preseason. I think hopefully you can sneak him on the practice squad. I do like him. Mika Tafua. I like what he did. Let's go through the rest. And really, there's only one left that I think has question marks here, and that is John Ridgeway. Lock or not on John Ridgeway, and we'll finish out the show on the phone lines. Rooting hard for John as well, right? We're talking about putting the roster together. I don't know if they're going to carry 12 guys. Now, they put 13 last year, but then they IR'd 2. So maybe they'll knock on John Ridgeway's door. So, you know what, though? You know what? He's a draft pick. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just do what the Cowboys do. They keep their draft picks. Until proven otherwise, the last couple of years, it seems like they favor their guys. So I'm going to go lock. Lock or not on John Ridgeway, the vanilla gorilla. I actually told him at practice, I said, man, I call you Big Country. Yeah, a nice little laugh at that. But yep, I'm going to go lock because he is a 5th-round draft pick. He's a guy he's a Dan Quinn guy. That stuff matters. So I'm going to go lock on him. Lock from Cowboys Chris, not from TC915. Not, he didn't show nothing. Says Charles, bubble guy. That's fair. Danny says Ridgeway has more upside than Hill. Well, now you're opening up a different can of worms. I kind of disagree, actually. The problem with Hill, knucklehead, who, by the way, he's a lock, I think. Was it knucklehead coming in, bad attitude, but from a talent standpoint, I don't even think. I think from a talent standpoint, Tristan came into the league more talented than John. But we're talking about totally different. Arkansas, that's true too. He's an Arkansas guy, Jerry Jones. Yeah, I think he'll be a lock. But can we look at a situation where they knock on his door and say, "Hey, John, that ankle hurts, man. Let's put you on IR." All right, why is Marv on here twice? Marv, you calling me from 2 phones, fan?
Calling from 1.
All right, I got you in here
call
twice.
You twice.
Yeah, I got you in here twice, but it's good. What's up with you, Marv?
Oh, man, I'm just listening to the show early in the morning.
Appreciate it.
Taking the car to get service. Got to take my car to the service.
I can dig it.
They got a new car. Something wrong with it, so they got to fix this shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my French.
You got a 72 deuce in the quota? You know you like to use numbers.
I know. Hey, I think Ridgeway.
Yeah, what about him?
That's kind of, he should make it, but they really want to put him on a practice squad. But I don't think he can make the practice squad.
I'm torn at that one.
Because I was watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was watching some of the Jets defensive tackles. Them boys can play too. So Dallas ain't the only team. It seems like there's been a lot of defensive tackles that have been stepping up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was watching all the preseason games, and I was watching defensive tackles, DBs, and there's a lot of talent out there.
Sure.
So, man, there's so much talent. Just, because Dan Quinn get anybody, he know how to make them work.
He does?
DB, linebacker, and safety, and corners. So, that's one thing with the Cowboys. I'm not even panicking they let somebody go. Because Dan Quinn, them, they know how to, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just our offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach, and offensive play call. Them the dummies. I'm like, they still in high school.
When you calling them dumbasses? Yeah, last week you was calling them dumbasses, wasn't you?
Yeah. They dummies because they don't be knowing what they're doing. They got the talent, but they don't know how to play the talent. That's what be hurting the Cowboys.
I can dig it.
And then I have a stupid look on their face when we were supposed to win a game that we lose. You see them over there like dumbfounded. But that's why I say the coach, he got to take control. If it come down to a game, a clutch game, he got like, oh, Kelly, come here. You gonna do this? I'm the coach.
Well, yeah.
No, you ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
If he do that,
and
then we can win.
I think there might be something to that this year in regards to Mike McCarthy kind of putting his hands a little bit more on this offense. I know he likes to be hands off, but Jerry and them told him, "Hey, dog, we need you to have a little bit more say." Without saying those exact words, that's kind of the sentiment I was getting, at least after the game was over or after the playoff loss and then heading into the offseason. So.
Yeah, and the corners, I'm talking about the corners, they don't really get burned. If guess who they playing like? I told Law this. They playing like number 30, Anthony Brown, and Awuzie. Remember, they'll be right there with the dude and don't turn their head. They turn their head, they'll get an interception. I'm like, man.
You talking about Bland? That one play that Bland had. I mean, but Bland, that's what I loved about Bland's game. That happened to him. It is what it is. But then the next few plays that he got that opportunity, he turned his head. So, he learned.
He made up. And that's the same thing that would happen. Kevin Joseph don't get burned. It's like he be kind of nervous. Fool, turn around and intercept the ball. You running right with it, man. Stop playing scared. He try to play too conservative. So he don't get burned. Now he was getting burned by 20 yards, 10 yards. Then you can say you cut him. That's why I was listening to people say, "Oh, man, Kevin Joseph, man, y'all stupid as hell." He's not getting burned. That much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Awuzie.
I just want I ain't worried about the defense. I'm just worried about the offensive line coach. I'm going to tell you, number 76.
Oh, we got landed, Marv. We got landed. Let's go ahead and land it. What's up with number 76?
Oh, your boy, he outplayed all the tackles. Ain't no way he should be cut. I'm kind of mad. That's the guy that should have went to left tackle.
Yeah, they ain't give him no reps over there.
They ain't give him no reps. That's the offensive line coach fault. What a dummy, man. I'm kind of sick of him. That's the only person I'm negative on, him. Yeah. Everybody else, I'm not tripping. It's just him, man.
I can do
he could stop us from winning a title by his coaching. So that's the only person you got to worry about. I love you so, bro. Everybody on here, put the likes for my boy, Steele the man, and have a blessed day, brother.
You too, man. Appreciate your Magic City, Mar. Yo, where's somebody? Somebody said, because he said a Woozy. Somebody said, shout out to Lil Uzi, bro. Lil Uzi. Oh, Marv, man. I'm surprised you didn't say number 24. You know why I ain't say 24? Because he couldn't remember Lil Uzi Vert's number. King Element said Marv would never land a plane. Hell no. Marv then took a couple shots in the cockpit, and he just on autopilot. The plane won't land unless I go land it. All right, man. We got Danny Macho Man Randy Savage on the horn as we close out the phone lines here. 1 second, let me lock
The conference has been locked.
What's good, Danny?
Good morning, Sky.
Good morning.
Sky, how do I follow Marv? How do I do that?
I don't think Marv. I don't think he. Oh, how do you follow him? Yeah, I don't know. When I saw that happening, he usually ends the show, but good luck.
Yeah, it's like he was saying 24 Boosie. Is it Boosie a rapper?
Oh my God.
Is he a rapper? I thought Boosie was a rapper.
B-O-O-S-I-E. No.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised that you know who Boosie is, but yeah.
Oh, come on. You act like I'm an ancient, man.
Fam,
I'm
listen.
rap. I'm into old school rap. I know who Boosie is. I know I'm old, but come on. All right, let's talk football a second.
Let's do it.
This is my opinion between Ridgeway and Hill. We know what we got with Tristan Hill. And has Tristan Hill looked good preseason? Yeah. But he's looked good playing up against third and fourth stringers. Ridgeway has one-on-ones, yes. He can't hold the attack versus double teams. I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's having trouble with double teams. But like you said, maybe you get a bad ankle,
set it off.
Or maybe you redshirt him. You know what I'm trying to say? But he has more right now. You know, think about it. We've been killing Tristan Hill since the season ended. And right now, people talking about him like he's Sue. No.
They're not, man.
We know.
All right, Slow down. See, Marv. See, look, call you Marv. Danny.
You're going to call me Marv. I'm going to hang up on you, bro.
Whoa, Danny going to hang up on me. It's a new day. Listen. Let me. I was just addressing what you said. You said he has more upside, and
absolutely,
I'm looking at it as when both of those guys came in who had more upside. I don't even think it's particularly close. I think Tristan Hill had more upside as a rookie coming in than Ridgeway did. Now, if we're talking about right now, because Hill was on his final year of his deal, right? I mean, Hill's on the final year of his deal. I don't think you're going to re-sign him. So the upside that you get with John Ridgeway, you get a 4-year cheap contract for a one tech who's not going to play more than 15 snaps in the game at some point, right? So, maybe. But I think from a talent standpoint, I don't think Ridgeway's better than Tristan Hill. I don't think he has more upside to him from a talent standpoint.
He's bigger. He's stronger. But let's be honest, too. Did we really think a kid from Indiana State who played 1 year with Arkansas and played very well, did we think he was going to come in and solve all our run problems? No.
I mean, but no. But Danny, you was speaking very highly of him doing stuff like that.
Oh, huge, and I still am, I still am. He needs to get bigger, though. He needs to get stronger. But I'm just saying, right now, Ridgeway. If I had to make a pick right now, who I want on my team, Hill or Ridgeway, I'm picking Ridgeway because after Hill's 3 years, let's be honest, Tristan Hill is not a run stopper. He's not a run plugger. Is he good? Is he fast for the outside? Yeah, that's great. But you know what? I need my defensive ends and my outside linebackers to do that. I need someone to plug the middle, and that's not the slug we've been calling him because he has a body like a slug.
How you getting Ridgeway in?
Not Tristan Hill.
How you getting Ridgeway in the game? Who you taking out?
10, 15 plays, put him at the goal line.
Who are you taking out?
I'm putting him over. I'm putting Ridgeway over Hill. That's all I'm saying.
No. Okay. But you said you are arguing about their play in the game. My question to you is, who are you taking out to play Ridgeway right now? Because it's an interesting conversation. I'm gonna tell you why it's two-sided. But go ahead. Who are you taking out to play Ridgeway right now?
Right now, he's a guy that comes off the bench. Danny,
answer the question. Who are you taking out of the game to bring Ridgeway in the game?
Who's ever more tired, Osa, Gallimore, or Bohanna?
Why are you using Osa? Osa's a different position. I'm not taking out Osa to bring in Ridgeway when I could put in Tristan for that position. Here's where I'm getting at. Here's what I'm trying to get at for you, Danny. In 2022, John Ridgeway at this moment does not look better than Quentin Bohanna, does not look better than Carlos Watkins, does not look better than Neville Gallimore. Those are going to be your one techs this year. He's your fourth one tech on the depth chart. Right now, I know injuries happen, but how are you putting him in over any of those other three guys when it comes time to do so? Unless all those dudes is hurt and tired. So that's why I asked you that. So wait a minute. So then we go, wait a minute. Then we go the opposite way for three tech. Osa, Tristan, Golston, who was more of a 5-tech, 3-tech guy right now. Tristan seems like he'll be your guy to give Osa a blow right now, unless you're going to slide over Neville to play that. Golston comes in and gives us a few snaps in there as well, but Tristan seems higher on his depth chart than Ridgeway by earning. And we're just talking about 2022. Is your goal to try to be the best defense now, or are you just looking for the future? Because if we're talking about the future, then yeah, you take the 4-year deal over the 1-year deal and you be happy. But if I'm trying to be the best defense now, I can't look at Ridgeway and Tristan Hill and be like, yeah, bro, Ridgeway over Tristan Hill. I don't know how you can do that right now.
All I'm trying to say is, listen, the best scenario, Ridgeway falls down. Oh, you fell down a flight of stairs. Oh, you hurt your ankle. You know what I'm trying to say? And then just chuck him on IR. All I'm trying to say is upside right now. All I'm trying to say is we know what we have with Tristan.
We do.
I'd rather stash Ridgeway on IR. He's not ready right now. I said that at the beginning of the call. He's not ready. One-on-ones, he does good. But double teams, let's see Tristan get double teams. And like I said, Tristan's had a really good preseason.
They're different.
But it's against guys.
Danny, they're different players.
Different
yes,
positions.
we completely understand that Tristan Hill is not 100%. A one tech. You keep what you're doing is you're slanting your argument. You're literally saying all the things that Tristan Hill was not here to do that John Ridgeway is. Yes, Tristan Hill was not a run, stop, and plugger one tech, but John Ridgeway ain't a guy that's going to get upfield and get into the backfield and be quick and go down the line of scrimmage and do those type of things. He's not that either. So, yes, they have different pluses and minuses to their game. Bottom line is, who's the better football player right now? If you tell me it's John Ridgeway, then, hey, brother, I'm not gonna keep going.
No. I ain't saying that right now. But all I'm trying to say is Tristan has blown up against guys that are going to be washing cars in 2 weeks.
John,
that's all I'm saying.
That's not all you're saying.
Wait, I went from Marv to John. It's the bad guy, bro. Hey, yo.
Oh, man.
Hey, yo. It's the bad. It's the bad. Yo, you got to, just real quick, you got to check out, there's a new podcast with Kevin Nash.
Yeah, I actually,
The
Click. I watched a little bit of one episode.
The stories are hilarious.
Man, listen, there is nothing like wrestling podcasts. From wrestlers. There's nothing like it.
Wrestlers, yes. But the guy with him, Sean Oliver, he's the guy who originally started all the wrestling podcasts. You know what I'm trying to say? But just hearing those Click stories, yo, I laugh, man. Listen, great call as always. I just think Ridgeway has potential. Throw him on IR. He needs to get bigger and stronger. That's all I'm saying.
I can dig it.
You gonna be on later? With
yes,
Bosch,
sir. Yes,
306,
sir. Yes, sir. We will be back, man.
Don't call me sir. I work for a living. All right, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still insulted. You didn't think I knew who Boosie was? He's number 24. Boosie.
I'm shocked. I am legitimately surprised. You know who.
So that means I get points. I get points.
You absolutely get points. 100%.
I needed this phone call. I really did, bro.
My God. I'm glad I could make your day better, bro. Great call. Let me see if I can get my voice deeper. Great call, man. I enjoy my debates with him because there's usually something to both sides. There's something to it. All right, man. We've locked the phone lines. In fact, we're actually going to close these phone lines, get them up out of here, and we're going to head to the chat before we roll out. We in overtime, so we having a little bit of fun. Before we head into the chat, do me a favor, man. For those that are still in here locked, we're 600 deep over on Facebook and YouTube. By the way, Facebook, the likes are just as important. The sharing is just as important. But if you are over on YouTube as well, as you can see here, man, hit the like button if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't. You can't comment unless you are subscribed for at least 20 minutes, and it's been working fantastically to get rid of these bots over here on YouTube. So we're going to continue to keep that rolling throughout the season. What y'all in here arguing about, man? Come on, man. Oh, this is the Dalton Dak. Is that who y'all arguing with? Why are y'all? Don't get y'all. Why y'all getting y'all emotions tied up into that? That's what they like to do, you know. Hey, Mr. 8 and 9. That's fine. Great for you. Dalton over Dak. Cool. I don't even watch wrestling no more, says King, but the business aspect of it is so interesting. Yes. Like, that's the thing. Like, even if you don't watch it anymore, listen to the podcast from the guys that are in it or women that have been in it. The stories are super fascinating. Y'all still talking about Danny. Freddie believes Ridgeway is gone if he gets cut. That might be true, and I'm gonna be cliche guy. We say this every year about certain guys, and they never get picked up. I mean, that's true. I don't know who that guy is going to be this year. Is it going to be Malik Davis? Is it going to be a Dennis Houston or somebody else that we're like, oh my God, they got cut, and they're going to get picked up, but they just don't normally happen. It doesn't happen. Yeah, Sam, we still rocking, but we at the end of the show. Christian Meeks, would you keep Pollard if he wants to get big money next year? No. I'm at that point now, man, with the running backs, and I hope he gets his bag. Now, Pollard would have to be, like, he had a stupid year for that to happen. But I'm at the point now, man. If you got a good running scheme, a good surrounding cast, good line, obviously, you can plug and play certain backs, man. Will the NFL go to a 60-man roster? I'm guessing that's what you mean. I wish. I think 53 is just, I mean, you extended. Here's what's wild. You extended the season for an extra game, but you kept a 53-man roster. That don't even add up. The extra game means there's a potential to be more injuries. So I wish they would have extended it more. I wish they would have kept the COVID rule. I think the COVID rule, you could do veterans on that. Maybe they did do that already. Veterans on the practice squad. But I just wish they did push it to 60. Those 4 extra spots would mean the difference. Hunter believes Hill was getting cut. I think he's a lock. I mean, why? Let me ask you all this for those who believe Tristan Hill is getting cut. Is he getting cut because you don't like what he's done the previous 3 seasons? Because I'm with you. I feel like inconsistency, knucklehead, injuries, all that stuff. I'm with you. I mean, in that case, yeah. But what I've said about Tristan coming in, he's always had the potential. He's always had the talent. He's got to put it together. He's got to show me. He's got to have a really damn good camp and a good preseason. And he has. So for those that are cutting Tristan Hill, I'm curious, who some of these other fringe guys, who are you keeping? And have they had a better camp? Have they had a better offseason than Tristan? I'm just curious. If you're cutting Tristan Hill, why? Jesse says Pollard can't ask for a lot of money. It works in our favor. Well, of course he can. Depends on what type of year he has. If he has an Austin Eckler year where he gets you 700 rushing yards, 800 receiving yards, that will require an offensive coordinator to be able to do those things. 7, 8, 9 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. Oh, and he stays healthy. Oh, if I'm his agent, I'm going into free agency like, look, I don't got a lot of tread on my tires. I play behind a guy they let take the brunt of the work. Here's my tape. And he can get some solid money. Now, Zeke money? No. But he'll get some mid-tier money. I think he can get over $5 million, $4 or $5 million, and that's going to be out of the Cowboys' price range. With camp over, who are my most improved players? And I said this yesterday about Big Bo. Bo Hanna is one of them. Semi is the other. Noah Brown. Let's go through the roster. I still got it pulled up. Here. Noah Brown, Semi. Hard to say Turpin is an improved player. We didn't know what he looked like last year. I'll give McGovern some love because at right tackle, he's looked good. A right guard. Let's see here. Defensively, Terrell Basham. Now, he's a veteran. Kind of hard to be like, oh, he's improved, but Terrell Basham looked good. Watkins. Very interesting. Like Watkins had a solid season for what he did, but he put on more weight this year. You can see he's above 300 pounds this year. I do like how Watkins looked. Let's see. Kind of hard to do linebackers unless you play any games. Israel McQuamma, 100% looks extremely improved. And we'll be literal. You said improved, not guys that are new or still looking like they were good last year. So those are kind of the names I throw out there. I think Isaac Taylor Stewart is getting cut. CT Mad here for sure. I appreciate you, K-Mac, over on Facebook. He says, love the show. Just started watching this week. So you are very brand new. Stick around, brother. I think you will enjoy what we got going on here. It is a really close community we got here. It's the Bomb Squad's in the building. They're always here getting it popping. Bomb Squad! We have a lot of fun. A lot of fun on this show, and we keep it, I call it a beam, but we keep it real here. Let's see here. What's up, Marv? Marv said the other Marv, which is actually Wink. Marvel. Tristan Hill is the only defensive lineman they have talked about trading. Who's they? You mean like media? Cowboys ain't come out saying none of that stuff. But he is the trade piece, right? Because he has the pedigree, right? 2nd round pick. Good film this year. He's been playing a lot to put him out there. I think we put our tinfoil hat on and we're like, well, is Tristan playing a lot to get traded? So from the media standpoint and us and all that bloggers world, yeah, I mean he's the name on that defensive line you can look at to try to get some help elsewhere. I do like how Golston has looked. He hasn't popped as much as say these other guys making big splash plays, but you see his length. You see him playing more inside. I like the way that Golston is moving. I almost said Marquise because 717. Shout out to Marcus Golston. Tony Pollard don't grow on trees. Pollard grow on vines. That's hilarious. Bohanna, Simi, Noah, and Hill. Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah, let me put Tristan. It's the thing about Tristan, and here's the thing. This is why I didn't include Tristan Hill with most improved. And I say this with all due respect. Tristan looks like Tristan to me. Like a guy that beats you at speed. He's always done that. His quickness, his get off, his motor, his relentless. He's relentless, put it that way. So, like, his traits that he's always had are on display. But he's been a bit more consistent with it, so I give him that. So I think it's fair to put him in the improved category. But in regards to those traits, I don't know that he's doing anything at a higher level. I just think he's playing, right? Remember we talked about last year, he didn't play in preseason or camp. The year before that, he actually was having a good camp, and then he got hurt in the season. So, I mean, he's looked like Tristan to me. He's just been available, and I think he's playing with a bit more pressure. So I'll be fair, yeah. I give it to Tristan. I'm way behind. Salute, Marcus. Y'all ain't arguing with somebody. All right, man. I think we are good. How many safeties you got us carrying if we run 3 safety looks? I'm gonna pull out my rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Oh, he goes like this. Five. I'm rolling with 5, man. 5 safeties. Ooh, listen. Hey, Wink. Ooh. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm going to leave it at this. What has Dorrance Armstrong done so sensational in camp? Says Wink. I know Tristan Hill is the trade guy, and I know y'all brought up Dorrance a couple weeks ago, I think it was. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just, signed a 2-year deal. It wasn't even on my mind. Yeah, you move on from him, you're going to get a hit. I'm watching Sam Williams and Dante Fowler, Terrell Bash. Micah's going to do some pass rushing. And I look at DA's had his moments at the practices I've been to. I've only been to 6 of them, but he's had some of his moments. Strangely, he ain't played preseason. I don't know what that's about. I mean, you're acting like DA is a made man. I ain't played preseason. Sam, Terrell, Dante. I'd rather play them more. I looked at it with Sam Williams. Like, I mean, if what I'm saying with Sam, if we're gonna say, hey man, give me 15 to 20 snaps, cool. Who snaps is he eating at? Dorrance. Now, what I wonder with Dorrance Armstrong is he's a veteran, understands the system. I do think he has some discipline within the system. I think he contains the edge at a consistent basis. He don't wow me with much, but I just wonder. Dorrance Armstrong could be a guy. All right, man. We about 10:30. We did a 2-hour show. I told y'all we're going to get all these bad boys out because during the season, we're going to have a routine, man. For K-Mac, salute to K-Mac who's in here. For you don't know, and for those who don't know, during the season, we got a strict routine we go through throughout the week where Mondays will be mostly about y'all. I'll react to the game. We'll have a few segments. One of my favorite segments is the cookout. Cannot wait to bring that back. I hope I can bring it back week 1. And the cookout is basically the player of the games that are invited to the grown folk table. Somebody in the chat a while ago said I should make a kiddie table, but I ain't doing that. That's disrespectful. We're just going to keep it with the grown folk table. That means the best of the best can come pull up, playing some spades, drink, get your plate. And we'll bring that back. And then throughout the week, We'll do some film breakdowns. We'll do some offense, defense. We got Okoye coming back, so make sure y'all stay locked for that. I cannot wait for the season, y'all. Cannot wait. With that said, make sure y'all tune in tonight. Yeah, Mauricio Rodriguez will be back tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time. Tune in for that. He had a fantastic show yesterday. It looked like you guys showed up, so appreciate y'all for doing that. Mo is killing it, I promise y'all. And if y'all do miss him, you can check out his work on A to Z Sports Dallas.com. We're going to run that back. We're going to run that back. Reggie said he loves that segment. I love that segment too. You know what else I love? Fantasy football. Before I get out of here, while we got 500 of y'all up in here, listen very carefully. Very carefully. This Friday, for those who are involved, this Friday is going to be the fantasy football draft in the evening. I have a time. It's going to be about 6 Central, which is 7 Eastern. I will be announcing, before I get out of here, I will be announcing the winners of the drawing or what have you on Wednesday. So if you still want to get your name in there, you got 2 more days to do it. What you do is you download the fantasy football app, Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code ATOZ. Listen up, I'll turn the music off at this point. You have to make a deposit for them to register you in. It could be $5. Doesn't matter. Deposit it. It's the best and easiest place to play fantasy football. All you do is draft your lineup, you set it, and you forget it. Easy peasy, right? So make sure y'all hit up the fantasy football app, Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code ATOZ, and you can also enter your draft or do a different draft in the Best Ball Mania, which pays out up to $10 million in prizes. All right, 2 more days. Want to pick 10 people. Get your name in there. ATOZ. Use the promo code on Underdog Fantasy. Good Lord. B47 said he's in 15 leagues. Well, then B47, Vic, you need to go ahead and just sign up for ours, which I think you did. I feel like you hit me up and you told me. So, almost forgot. Now we can hit the button. Shout out to the Bomb Squad. Appreciate y'all for being in here today. Salute to the Cochran firm. Get into an accident, got any problems, hit up the Cochran firm in Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston, and Underdog Fantasy. Appreciate our sponsors. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We out of here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!